In the year 2486, humanity had spread across the galaxy, building shining cities on alien worlds. Yet even among billions of people living under different suns, loneliness had not disappeared. For Captain Elias Rain, commander of the exploration ship Aurora's Reach, the silence of deep space had become both his home and his curse. For 6 years, Elias had roamed the uncharted regions of the Orion Rim. His mission was simple: find habitable worlds, collect data and send it back to Earth, but lately, it all felt the same. Planets blurred together, their skies different but empty. His crew was small and loyal, yet distant. Conversations had turned mechanical. Even laughter felt artificial under recycled air. One night, while scanning the outer rings of an unnamed nebula, something unusual appeared on his monitor. A signal, soft, rhythmic, like a heartbeat. It wasn't mechanical. It was organic. Elias leaned forward, eyes narrowing. "Run it again," he ordered the ship's AI. "Confirmed," the AI replied in its calm voice. "Source, unidentified. Emission pattern suggests biological resonance. A biological signal from deep space? That was impossible. No human or known alien species had ever produced such a frequency. Still, curiosity was humanity's oldest instinct, and Elias was nothing if not human. He set course for the source. The ship glided through glittering waves of cosmic dust, its hull glowing faintly from nearby starlight. The nebula outside looked alive, colors dancing, light pulsing. It was beautiful enough to make even a tired captain pause. As Aurora's Reach drew closer, the scanners detected a small structure floating in the dust, a crystalline sphere no larger than a city block. It shimmered like liquid glass, spinning slowly in space. "This is not a natural formation," the AI confirmed. Elias frowned. "Send out a drone." The drone drifted into the glowing mist, sending back high-resolution visuals. What it found made Elias forget to breathe for a moment. Inside the sphere floated a figure, humanoid, suspended in a beam of blue light. A woman, or something like one. Her hair drifted like silver threads, her skin faintly luminous. She was motionless, as if frozen in time. Elias whispered, "What are you?" Without warning, the sphere responded. The glow pulsed once, then twice. Then the signal changed. It wasn't random anymore. It was communication. The frequency formed simple patterns, almost like words. "She's trying to speak," Elias realized. The AI translated, "Do not be afraid. I am alone too." Elias stared at the monitor, his pulse quickening. He had found life, intelligent life, and it was reaching out to him not with hostility but with loneliness. He ordered the airlock prepared and suited up for an external inspection. It was dangerous, reckless even, but explorers didn't earn legends by playing safe. As he floated out of the ship, the void stretched endlessly around him. Only his own breathing echoed inside the helmet. He approached the sphere carefully. The closer he came, the brighter it glowed. A low vibration hummed through his suit like a song made of light. Then, without warning, the sphere opened. A ripple of stardust expanded outward, touching his gloved hand. The touch was warm, impossibly warm for something in the vacuum of space. It felt like a heartbeat. A voice, soft, melodic, spoke directly into his mind. "You came for me," Elias froze. "Who are you?" he said aloud, though he knew she could hear him in any way she wanted. "I am Lyra," the voice answered. "The last of the Celestials. We were guardians of light, until darkness took the stars from us." Her image materialized in front of him. No longer a vision trapped inside the crystal. She stood there, glowing faintly, her feet not touching the surface. Her eyes were like galaxies, endless and bright. Elias could not speak. For a moment, all his years of training, science, and logic felt useless. She smiled gently, her expression filled with something deeply human. "Sorrow. Your world still lives," she said softly. "You are children of the stars, yet you forget the song that made you." He tried to respond, but words failed him. Instead, he asked, "Why were you here? Why were you alone?" "Because I broke the rule," she whispered. "We were forbidden to love the mortals who looked to the skies. But I did, and for that I was cast adrift until my heart turned to starlight." Elias felt a strange ache in his chest. Something about her story, her loneliness, her punishment echoed his own. He too was a wanderer, exiled by his own choices, chasing silence across the galaxy. When he reached out, his gloved hand passed through her light, but he felt her warmth, faint and soft like sunlight through water. The stars around them pulsed brighter as if reacting to her presence. Lyra's gaze lingered on him. "You are not meant to find me, Captain Rain, yet you did. That changes everything, how?" he asked quietly. "Because the stars remember love," she said, smiling sadly, "even when we do not." And then, before he could say another word, she leaned forward just a breath apart and pressed a kiss against his visor. The contact wasn't physical, yet it felt real. The glass shimmered with a trail of golden dust. The light from it spread slowly, sinking through his suit and into his skin. Elias gasped as warmth flooded his chest. His heartbeat synced with the rhythm of the signal. It wasn't painful, it was beautiful. When he looked at his hand, faint traces of starlight glimmered under his skin like tiny constellations. What did you do?" he whispered. Lyra's voice was fading, softer now. "I gave you part of my light. You will need it soon. The darkness that took my kind still moves between the stars. It knows you now." Then her image began to dissolve, the sphere breaking apart into 1,000 shining fragments. The nebula around them dimmed as if mourning her departure. Elias floated there, speechless, his heart racing, his skin glowing faintly with stardust. The moment was gone, but her touch remained, warm, real, and impossible to forget. As he returned to the ship, the AI's sensors flickered. "Captain, an unknown energy field is forming nearby," it said. Elias stared out the viewport, watching as the nebula began to twist. In the distance, something vast moved through the darkness. He didn't know what it was, but he knew one thing. Whatever was coming, her kiss had marked him. And the stars themselves were now watching. Ever since the encounter with Lyra, the mysterious celestial woman, he had been restless. The glow under his skin hadn't faded. It shimmered faintly whenever he was near starlight. A soft golden hue like fireflies trapped beneath his veins. It didn't hurt, but it filled him with energy, awareness, and something he couldn't explain. He stood before the ship's viewport, staring at the swirling colors of the nebula outside. It was beautiful, but different now. Darker somehow, as if something had stolen part of its glow. The ship's AI, Aurora, spoke softly.
"Captain, your biological readings are changing."
"Your heart rate, temperature, and energy output are no longer human standard." Elias gave a tired smile. "You're saying I'm glowing like a light bulb, Aurora?" "More accurately," Aurora replied. "Your body is generating an unknown energy signature, one that matches the resonance left by the entity known as Lyra." He touched his chest, where the stardust shimmered faintly beneath his uniform. "She said I'd need it soon," the AI hesitated. "Captain, sensors are detecting movement beyond the nebula. Something massive is approaching." Elias turned sharply. "Show me." The main display came alive, showing the outer rim of the nebula. Shadows moved within the dust. Not ships, not asteroids, but something alive. Enormous shapes gliding silently through space like dark whales drifting across a cosmic ocean. Their forms absorbed light rather than reflected it. They looked like holes cut into reality itself. "What are those?" Elias whispered. "Unknown," Aurora answered. "But they are emitting the same dark frequency that corrupted the nebula's core. Captain, this may be what Lyra called the darkness." Elias's heart sank. Lyra had said her kind were destroyed by it. If it found them now, Earth's people might not stand a chance. He knew he had to warn the human fleet. He opened a transmission link and began sending encrypted data packets through subspace. Visuals, coordinates, everything he had. But before the signal could complete, the ship shuddered violently. "Impact detected," Aurora cried. The lights dimmed. A heavy vibration ran through the hull. The ship wasn't hit by a weapon. It was caught in a gravitational field. Elias gripped the control panel. "Stabilize thrusters." "Pull us free." "Trying," Aurora said, "but the pull is increasing. It's feeding on our energy." Outside, one of the shadow forms turned toward the ship. Its shape became clearer, like a massive creature made of smoke and void. Where its eyes should have been, there was only emptiness, and yet Elias could feel its gaze. For a second, he felt something brush his mind. A whisper, cold and hollow. "You carry her light." The forbidden spark. Elias felt a wave of nausea, then fury. He shouted into the darkness. "You won't touch her memory." The golden light beneath his skin pulsed, responding to his anger. Aurora's monitors flickered wildly. "Captain, your body is emitting energy waves." "It's countering the gravity field." Elias closed his eyes. focusing on that warmth Lyra had left inside him. He imagined her voice, calm, kind, strong. The light spread outward through his body, into the ship's systems. The Aurora's reach began to shine, its hull glowing with golden lines that traced its frame like living veins. The gravitational pull weakened. The darkness hissed, not with sound but with presence. The creature recoiled, its shadowy form unraveling as the light grew brighter. In moments the ship broke free. The golden energy faded, leaving only faint sparks in the air. Elias fell to one knee, breathing hard. Aurora's voice trembled slightly, or perhaps it only seemed that way. "Captain, whatever that was, it came from you." He looked at his hands, trembling but alive. "No, Aurora. It came from her." He didn't know how long he sat there, but eventually he rose and checked the ship's damage. Most systems were stable. The dark creatures, however, were not gone. They lingered at the edge of the nebula, watching, waiting. He had escaped, but not for long. The following day, while the ship drifted toward a safer region, something strange happened. A low hum filled the air, not mechanical, but melodic. The same song Lyra had once sung in his mind. "Source of the sound?" he asked. Aurora replied, "It is not external, it is coming from you, Captain." Elias frowned, pressing a hand to his chest. The light pulsed in rhythm with the hum. For a moment he saw a faint shimmer in front of him, like a reflection of her face. "Lyra," he whispered. The shimmer solidified into a soft outline, her form made of light, weaker than before but still graceful. "Elias Rain," her voice echoed in his thoughts. "You are part of the song now. The stardust in you remembers me. Through it I can speak again." He smiled faintly. "You're alive in a way. My body is gone, but my essence was carried by the light I left within you." Elias felt a lump in his throat. "You said the darkness knows me now. It attacked because of that, didn't it?" Lyra nodded, her expression sad. "The darkness feeds on forgotten light. You carry what it fears most. That makes you both a target. And a weapon, a weapon. Yes, you are human, Elias. You feel hope and fight for what you love. That is something the darkness cannot understand. It destroys what it cannot control." He looked down at his glowing hands. "Then I'll fight back." Lyra's expression softened. "Not alone. The song that lives in you can awaken others. The light is meant to be shared." Before Elias could ask what she meant, the image faded again. The glow within him dimmed, leaving behind only warmth. A few hours later, Aurora interrupted his thoughts. "Captain, I'm detecting a distress beacon, human frequency, nearby." Elias's heart jumped. "A colony ship?" "Affirmative. Registry ID matches Helios Arc 7. The ship is damaged and drifting toward the nebula." He remembered the creatures still lurking there. If the colony ship entered the nebula, it would be destroyed. "Prepare a jump," he ordered. "We're going to intercept." The Aurora's reach roared to life. Within minutes it emerged near the massive colony vessel. Thousands of lives were on board, their ship crippled and losing power. "This is Captain Elias Rain of the Aurora's Reach," he called through comms. "Hold position. We'll tow you out." But before they could lock on, shadows began to form around the Arc 7, the same darkness that had attacked him. Elias's heart pounded. "No, not now." The creatures closed in, their forms like swirling black smoke wrapping around the colony vessel. Aurora's voice was tense. "Captain, we cannot engage. Our weapons are ineffective against energy anomalies of that scale." Elias stared at the darkness, remembering Lyra's words. "The light is meant to be shared." He closed his eyes and placed his hand against the control console. "Then let's give them the light." The stardust inside him responded immediately, bursting outward like fire. The Aurora's reach flared bright gold, illuminating the void. Streams of energy flowed from the ship's hull toward the colony ship, wrapping it in radiant light. For a moment, everything went silent. Then the shadows screamed, a soundless wave of rage. They recoiled, dissolving into fragments of smoke that scattered across the stars. The beacon lights on the Ark. 7 flickered back to life. The colonists inside were safe. Elias fell back into his chair, exhausted but alive. Aurora reported, "The creatures have vanished, Captain. Power levels are stabilizing. The Arc 7 is secure," he smiled faintly. "Good. Let's escort them out." As they guided the colony ship to safety, Elias felt Lyra's voice echo once more inside his mind. You see? Even a spark of light can drive away the deepest shadow. He looked out the window, watching the glowing trail left behind by their ships. Maybe humanity was meant to find you, Lyra. Maybe we needed your light. And maybe, her voice whispered gently, I needed yours. The nebula behind them began to fade from view, but Elias knew this was not the end. Somewhere beyond the stars, the darkness still waited, and his light was the only thing it feared. Captain Elias Rain sat in the command chair of Aurora's Reach, staring at the glowing blue display before him. The colony ship Arc 7 was now safe, escorted beyond the edge of the nebula. Humanity would hear of what happened soon, but Elias wasn't sure they'd believe it. He had fought living shadows guided by the light of a woman who no longer existed. He had seen a piece of the universe that science could not explain, and now the stardust inside him pulsed again, brighter than ever before. It was no longer just light. It was alive. The AI Aurora spoke softly. Captain, the stardust readings inside your body have increased by 400%. Your energy levels are no longer human measurable. Elias gave a faint smile. Guess I'm turning into a flashlight, huh? More than that, Aurora said. You are becoming something else. He didn't respond. Deep inside, he already knew. Lyra's energy, her soul, was becoming part of him. Every heartbeat carried her memory. Every breath hummed with her voice. Outside the window, the nebula flickered again. This time, not with beauty, but with pain. Something stirred in its depths. Aurora, he said, standing. Scan that region. I have a feeling our friends aren't finished. The ship's sensors whirred. Confirmed. A large dark mass is forming near the nebula's core. It's far larger than the previous entities, estimating size at over 200 kilometers. Elias frowned. That's not a creature, that's a world. The display revealed it clearly. A planet-sized shadow pulsing like a black heart. Tendrils of darkness reached outward, feeding on light. Stars near it dimmed one by one. Aurora said, The energy signature matches the smaller entities. It's the source, the heart of the darkness. Elias remembered Lyra's words. The darkness took my kind. It moves between the stars. It wasn't just a creature. It was the remnant of something older, something that devoured light to survive. He whispered to himself, If it keeps growing, it'll consume every sun it touches. The ship trembled slightly as the gravity around them shifted. Aurora warned, We are within its pull, Captain. It's waking up. Elias could have turned back. He could have fled to safety with the rest of humanity. But deep down he knew. If he didn't stop it here, there would be no safety anywhere. He stood tall, his eyes fixed on the swirling darkness. Aurora set a course straight toward the core. The AI hesitated. That will be suicide. Maybe, he said softly, but it's what I have to do. As the ship turned toward the black world, the stardust within him began to glow brighter. He could feel her, Lyra, reaching for him. Her voice whispered faintly, Elias, don't do this alone. He smiled sadly. I was never alone, Lyra, you're still here. The Aurora's Reach entered the shadow zone. The stars vanished behind them, swallowed by darkness. The only light came from Elias himself, a golden aura spreading from his body through the ship. Inside the gloom, whispers echoed, voices that weren't human. They spoke in broken fragments of thought. Light. Forbidden. Destroy the song. Elias gripped the controls, his heart steady. You can't destroy what we are. Humans don't stop singing, even when the stars go dark. The ship broke through the outer barrier. At the center, a massive black sphere floated, the core of the dark world. Its surface shifted like smoke, alive and restless. As Elias stared at it, the voice returned, deep, cold, and endless. You carry her sin. Her love wasn't a sin, Elias said firmly. It was hope. Hope burns the stars. You will join her in silence. The ship's systems began to fail. Lights flickered. Aurora's voice grew faint. Captain, our power reserves are draining. We cannot hold position. Elias looked at his hands. The light was spilling out faster now, wrapping around him like living flame. He knew what it meant. The energy inside him was reaching its limit. Then he heard Lyra again. Clear this time, her tone filled with both sadness and strength. Elias. The darkness cannot be destroyed by force. It can only be undone by what it fears, by connection, by light shared freely. He closed his eyes, whispering, "Then show me how." A vision filled his mind. Not words, but feelings. Stars linked together like hearts, voices singing across the void. The Celestials had once done this, binding their light together to keep the darkness away. He could feel that same power now, inside him. But he was only one person. It wouldn't be enough unless... He turned toward Aurora. "Patch me into the human network. Every ship, every colony frequency you can reach." "Captain, the communication range is limited," Aurora warned. "Then use my signal as the carrier," he said. "Use my light." Aurora hesitated for a brief moment, then obeyed. The ship's antennas extended, and the golden energy coursed through the systems, transforming data streams into radiant pulses. Elias closed his eyes and spoke, not to machines, but to humanity. "This is Captain Elias Rain of the Aurora's Reach. If you can hear me, look to the sky. There's darkness coming, and it feeds on fear, on silence. But we have something stronger. We have each other." Across the network, faint signals began responding, one by one, ships and colonies picking up his voice. "Light isn't only stars," he continued. "It's every act of kindness, every dream, every memory of someone we love. That's what keeps the universe alive. Don't let it fade. Sing, shout, remember, whatever it takes, keep your light burning." As his words spread, the signal grew brighter. Every ship that heard him began to echo the transmission, forming a web of golden light across human space. The darkness around him stirred, angry now. "You cannot stop the void," it thundered. Elias smiled faintly. "I'm not trying to stop it. I'm reminding it what light feels like." He opened his hands and the stardust burst from his body, flooding the ship, then the void beyond. The golden light expanded, meeting the black sphere head-on. For a moment, everything froze. Silence, stillness, endless night. Then, like dawn after the longest winter, the dark world began to crack. Beams of gold pierced through its surface. The voices of the darkness screamed and dissolved, scattered into nothingness. The nebula blazed with light again, brighter than ever before. When the brightness faded, Aurora's Reach drifted quietly in open space. The ship was damaged but intact. The sensors showed clear skies and no trace of darkness anywhere. Elias floated in the command chair, breathing slowly. His skin no longer glowed. The stardust had left him, taking with it the warmth he'd carried for so long. Aurora's voice came softly. "Captain, energy readings have stabilized. The dark anomaly has been erased. Humanity is safe." He smiled faintly, exhaustion in his eyes. "We did it, Lyra." There was silence for a moment. Then faintly he heard her, not in his mind but all around him. "You gave them the song back." Now the stars remember again. He looked out at the nebula, no longer a cloud of shadow but a river of light. Within it, shapes of luminous figures drifted, the Celestials reborn from the energy he had released. Lyra was among them, glowing softly. She smiled at him, her eyes full of peace. "Your kind will shine brighter than we ever did, Elias." "Thank you." He reached out, though he knew she was far beyond his touch. "Goodbye, Lyra." "Not goodbye," she whispered. "Every star that burns carries part of us both." Then she faded into the starlight, her essence joining the endless glow around him. Elias sat quietly, staring at the golden sea. For the first time in years, he felt no loneliness and his only calm. Aurora interrupted gently. "Captain, the human fleet is requesting communication. They wish to know what happened." He chuckled softly. "Tell them the truth, Aurora." "The truth, sir?" "Yes," he said, smiling as he looked at the glowing horizon. "Tell them a girl made of stars taught us how to remember who we are." The ship turned toward home. Behind them, the nebula continued to shine, a permanent mark of the light he had given back to the universe. And though his skin no longer glowed, sometimes in the reflection of the glass, he could still see faint sparkles of gold, reminders of her kiss, of her stardust, and of the forbidden encounter that changed the destiny of humankind. Because even in the vast silence of space, the song of light would never fade again.